Hello everyone, it's Prof, and welcome to a new series called Could They Beat Saitama? With this series, I'm going to be choosing some of the most popular and powerful characters in anime and pitting them against Saitama. Today we'll be pitting the Jujutsu Sorcerer Prodigy Gojo Satoru against Saitama. Gojo just radiates big, strong vibes and is very clearly made out to be in a league of his own, at least in his own series. And a character you'll often see compared to people way outside his weight class. There will obviously also be spoilers for both of these series because I'll be getting into manga and webcomic feats for One Punch Man and manga feats that haven't appeared in the anime yet for Jujutsu Kaisen. With that in mind, let's just quickly scale both characters. Gojo is straight up stated to be the strongest character in the manga by the author and once fought numerous special grade spirits like Jogo and Hanami who had prep, while Gojo was forced to hold back, and they only won by tricking him in the end. It's shown and stated time and time again that Gojo is far stronger than the likes of Jogo, as the two literally fought and Gojo just annihilated him. Jogo and Dagon, who is weaker than Jogo, both have impressive creation feats with their domain expansion in which they create massive landscapes. In both cases, it comes out to around 100 megatons to 2.5 gigatons of TNT, which is around enough to destroy a mountain or a little bit more. Jogo, without his domain, also conjured a giant meteor in Shibuya, which has been calculated on multiple occasions to be small city level. Sukuna, after fighting Mahoagra, unleashes his domain and destroys a massive portion of Shibuya, and then uses a fireball attack. The resulting explosion has been calculated to city level. This is Sukuna with 15 fingers, which should still be inferior to Gojo, as Yuji is confident that Yuta, who's weaker than Gojo, could defeat 15-finger Sukuna. Speed-wise, many top-tier characters in JJK are stated or implied to be around the speed of sound. However, we'll give Gojo the benefit of the doubt and scale him to a high-end feat from Maki. Maki early in the series catches a bullet fired by Mai at extremely close range. This has been calculated at around 27 times the speed of sound. Maki at this point is considered absolute garbage and is much slower than even Naobito Zenin, who is considered the fastest sorcerer after Gojo. I don't really care if you actually think he's the second fastest, it doesn't really make a difference. Making Gojo the fastest sorcerer, including Maki. I don't think I really need to add any more to convince you that Gojo is faster than Maki. I probably didn't even need to say anything to begin with, it's pretty obvious. Saitama, on the other hand, has literally one-tapped characters that blow away entire mountains, and has many multi-continental feats to his name, such as his Series Punch splitting the atmosphere, the force of simply jumping off the moon, or deflecting Borusu's blast, which was going to destroy the surface of the Earth or even the entire planet itself. Even his casual punches can one-tap characters that blow away cities with just a flick of a wrist, possibly country-level meteors, and turn mountains to rubble with just the air pressure. Saitama's speed, while it could have an entire video in its own right, I'll make very simple with the fact he's able to react to and keep up with Flashy Flash, who's stated capable of moving at light speed in the databook and even faster on the volume cover. So obviously Saitama is massively stronger and faster than Gojo. Gojo is more so reaching the level of some S-class heroes in AP with a little benefit of the doubt, and his speed is absolutely abysmal, as even A-class heroes like Lightning Max can kick at the speed of lightning. Saitama also does this with almost every punch, whereas Gojo only reaches those high mountain busting levels with his strongest techniques, like Domain Expansion or Hollow Purple. But Gojo's specialty is not his raw power, but his techniques. Satoru Gojo is the sole heir of the Gojo clan, and not only that, he's the first in hundreds of years to have both the Six Eyes and Limitless Curse techniques. This gives him access to his main techniques, Red, Blue, and Purple. Just so this video isn't 20 minutes long, I'll summarize these techniques as Blue sucks stuff up, Red makes a big explosion, and Purple destroys things down to their atoms on contact. These don't do too much outside of their basic effects, however Purple may have durability negating properties seeing as it breaks things down on an atomic level, but I'll adjust that later. These are basically just Dragon Ball Z energy blasts with cool effects. Gojo's main ability is his Infinity Cursed technique. Again, this video is not a video explaining Gojo's abilities, so I'm going to keep this brief. Gojo doesn't literally have an infinite space around his body, rather he manipulates the space around him to replicate a fallacy known as Achilles and the Tortoise. Look that up if you want to know more about it. This means that as you get closer, space divides more and more, appearing as if you cannot reach Gojo. Literally just find a video explaining Gojo if you want more about that. Like I said, I'm keeping it brief. Infinite Void is Gojo's domain expansion, which traps his opponent within a space, then bombards their mind with an infinite amount of information, paralyzing them. The Six Eyes ability isn't very well explained so far in the series, but what we know so far is Gojo can sense anyone with cursed energy and know their techniques. Not that that really matters with Saitama since he just punches and kicks. Gojo can also use the Six Eyes to limit his use of cursed energy, giving him extremely high stamina since he doesn't waste cursed energy when he doesn't have to. So the question is, can Gojo's hacks and techniques counter Saitama's overwhelming power and speed? Gojo's standard red and blue techniques cannot do anything to Saitama, as they haven't demonstrated even close to enough AP, and would be more like Deep Sea King's punches hitting the back of Saitama's head. Hollow Purple, while you could argue ignores durability on an atomic level, Saitama in the webcomic has fought Awakened Garo, who could counter the Atomic Slash, which has been stated to cut atoms in half. This means Saitama could take hits from a character much stronger than Gojo, hitting him with atomic level precision. Infinity is where things start getting interesting, however it brings up a series of questions. Firstly, is Infinity passive? What I mean by this is, does Gojo have Infinity active all the time? In the arc following the end of the anime, we go back to Gojo's school days. Here we see Gojo exhaust himself by spamming his Six Eyes and Infinity for days on end, which causes him to be caught off guard by Toji Zenin and stabbed. After Gojo gets stronger following this, we see him training, in which Gojo states, "Right now, I can almost keep the Limitless activated at all times." While this is a much younger Gojo, it's never stated later on that Gojo did in fact learn how to keep it going at all times. It's also stated later that Gojo at one point deactivates his Limitless Curse technique, implying it's something that he turns off and on rather than being on all the time. Making this worse for Gojo is that seeing as Saitama has no cursed energy, his Six Eyes will be completely ineffective at sensing Saitama before Saitama attacks, and that's without even taking into account that Saitama is thousands if not millions of times faster. If Gojo doesn't have Infinity up at all times, Saitama would be able to blitz and one-shot him before Gojo could even think to bring it up. It would be similar to what Toji Zenin did, just worse because of the speed gap. So let's give Gojo the benefit of the doubt, and say it's implied that Gojo, after several more years of training, did eventually figure out how to keep Infinity running at all times. In that case, could Saitama still beat Infinity? Infinity, as I explained, is not literally an infinite space, but rather space dividing itself to expand infinitely. The problem for Gojo is we don't really know the rate at which it expands and divides. Gojo himself is actually shown controlling Infinity at one point in order to, spoiler alert, kill Hanami as he rapidly expands it to crush him. This may imply that Gojo himself has to control Infinity for it to work, but even still, it's only shown dividing fast enough to stop characters like Hanami and Jogo, both of which are far slower and weaker than Gojo himself, and by extension, much weaker and slower than Saitama. While Gojo may hypothetically be able to divide space infinitely, he has yet to display the ability to divide space fast enough before someone as fast or strong as Saitama could reach him. And this is especially worse if we say Gojo actually controls Infinity directly. Okay, so now let's say, for argument's sake, Gojo's Infinity is not only passive, but also straight up cannot be bypassed by physical attacks at all. Surely now, Saitama cannot reach Gojo, right? In the manga, Saitama encounters a monster by the name of Phoenix Man, who creates the Phoenix Space. This space experiences time at a much slower rate than the real world, and exists within Phoenix Man as a means to communicate with others spiritually. Saitama then literally physically breaks into this spiritual space using his own physical body. This is not to say that Phoenix Space and Infinity are the same exactly. However, Saitama being able to interact with and enter a spiritual space may imply that he has some spatial manipulation and could cross through the infinity between he and Gojo, simply by breaking space itself. Considering we had to give Gojo the benefit of the doubt multiple times to get him this far anyway, I think it's fair to at least consider this a possibility as a win-con for Saitama. Regarding Gojo's offensive options, Infinite Void could work assuming it lands, but as we've established, Saitama is massively faster and could blitz Gojo and kill him in one attack. He'd have no way of using Infinite Void before he dies. Saitama may even be fast enough to just straight up escape his domain's range as Gojo is activating it. Even if Saitama was paralyzed by Infinite Void, again, assuming it lands to begin with, Gojo would have absolutely no means to hurt him even when he's just, paralyzed. Meanwhile, Jogo could eventually recover from the effects of Infinite Void rather quickly as well, so it's plausible Saitama could as well given the power gap. To wrap things up, Saitama has massively superior AP and speed by thousands of times over. Even assuming Saitama doesn't blitz and one-shot Gojo from the start, Gojo only has a single valid offensive option, and it's usually the thing he uses the least, unlike Saitama, who can kill Gojo with every single punch. None of Gojo's hacks or abilities would have any effect on Saitama due to the huge power and speed gap, and Saitama would simply defeat Gojo with one punch. Yeah, I know this video is pretty short, but I'm really sick right now and wanted to provide you guys with literally anything. I've been working on a big project for a while, but there have been setbacks and complications, so I made this quick video that I could just put out until then. Hopefully, now that I'm better, I can start uploading more consistently again. I have a lot of cool things planned, like ranking all the espers from Mob Psycho 100, and Saitama versus Superman, so if you guys want to see that, please be sure to like and sub. I know I sound like every other YouTuber, but it really does help show what you guys want to see and are interested in, so I can make better content for you guys. Anyway, all that generic stuff out of the way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.